Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another get ready with me, and I have spent all morning doing schoolwork and I am just ready to kind of relax and do some makeup. And doing makeup always helps me relax. That is one of my favorite things to do if I'm feeling a little bit stressed out. So I am ready to do some makeup. So let's just go ahead and get started. As always, I am going to start with my eyes. And to prime my eyes, I'm going to be using my CoverGirl Clean Invisible Concealer in the shade Fairer. I used this in my last Get Ready With Me and I said that I am trying to use this up. I've had it for way too long and I only use it to prime my eyelids with. So this has been the only thing I've been using recently to prime my eyelids. To set that down, I'm going to be using this powder. The thing about this powder is I actually got this from a friend. A friend was decluttering this and, you know, letting friends go through her declutter pile, and I grabbed this because I wanted to try it out, and I had no idea what brand it's from, but it looks like it is from Revolution Beauty, which, if you don't know, is Makeup Revolution. They are known for duping other products. I actually have the product that this is duping, not in the same shade, but this is the banana powder and this is the product that it duped, which I also got from the same friend. She was decluttering both of these. So this is the Ben 9 Neutral Set Colorless Powder, and they have this in a banana shade too. This is a dupe of this, just in a different shade, obviously. So I'm going to pour a little bit of this into the cap and use that to set my eyelids. I find that I always have to set my eyelids because I have oily skin, which means I have oily eyelids as well. But now we are going to move on to eyeshadow. The eyeshadow palette that I want to play around with today is the Natasha Denona Love Palette. Now, I did use one shade from this palette in my last video, which was a second impressions video, trying out some new products I have bought recently. If you have not seen that yet, I would recommend going and watching it. And I used the shade Pure Love in that video, and today I want to do a look using the shade Blind. I've had this palette probably since February. I got it like a few weeks after it came out, and I haven't really gotten to play around with it yet. I've done only like 2 or 3 looks with this, maybe, and it definitely deserves some more love, so I want to play with it today. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take the shade Valentine, which is this light, cool toned pink, and it looks super light in the pan, but when you apply it, it actually gives you more color payoff than what you think it will give you. So I am going to buff that around in my crease and just really blow it out. But now I'm going to take the shade called Intense, which is this pink right next to Valentine. It's kind of like a dusty mid-tone pink color, and what I'm going to do with this is blend it in the crease, but just a little bit lower than the shade Valentine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shade called Soul, which is again another muted dusty pink, and I'm going to mix it with this shade up here called Heartbeat, which is a kind of reddy brown color, and I'm going to blend that around on the outer corner of my eye because I want some definition out there, but I don't want it to be too intense. Now I'm going to go back in with the first light pink shade called Valentine and kind of buff all the edges and buff all of these shadows together so it's nice and blended. And I'm kind of just going to repeat the steps that I've already done and blend everything and build up a little bit of color if anything gets blended away. So now I'm going back into Intense and putting some more of that through the crease. And then taking Heartbeat mixed with Soul and putting some more of that into the outer corners. And now on a dry brush, I'm going to pick up some of this silver eyeshadow right here called Blind. And this is one of the most intense eyeshadows in this palette. It almost has like a cream to powder formula, and I know that Natasha Denona does have a formula like that, and I don't know if this is that formula. I haven't fully researched it, but it is such a creamy pigmented color, and you get an insane amount of color payoff. And I'm going to take a little bit of it on my finger just to see if we can up the ante here, which we definitely can. That looks so pretty. This is the exact look that I had in my mind. The one thing that I am noticing about this specific shade is it is making my eyelids look a little bit textured. And that might just be because this shade is so metallic and foiled, but I personally don't really have texture on my eyelids. They're pretty smooth, and this is just making it look like they are like bumpy. I almost said crispy. Not crispy, just like bumpy, when I know personally that I don't have very textured eyelids, so I don't know. This is a really gorgeous eyeshadow shade, and I think it is the only silver super metallic shadow that I have in my collection. I can't think of anything in another palette that is like this. So I think this kind of filled a niche in my collection that I really didn't have, which is really nice. Maybe sometime in the future I'll end up going to a huge New Year's Eve party and I'll be like, I need a silver eyeshadow look. I'm just gonna take this big fluffy brush that I have been using with the shade Valentine, and I'm not taking any more product. I'm just going to buff over the edges just to give one last final blend to everything. I am happy with where the eyeshadow is at right now. I might add a little bit more later if I feel the need to, but now we are going to move on to my face makeup. First, I'm going to take my Farsali Skintune Blur Perfecting Primer Serum and apply that towards the middle of my face. I'm gonna throw on some chapstick real quick because my lips are going through it. So the foundation that I want to use today is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation. I have the shade 110 Porcelain. This is a fantastic foundation. I feel like it's almost a cult favorite. So many people love this foundation, and it is, I think, for a very good reason. It is such a natural looking foundation. It's not super matte, it's not super dewy, it just makes you look like you have naturally beautiful skin. And I would say when you first apply this, it is a light coverage, but it is very, very, very buildable. And I typically go in with less foundation at first and like to build it up because it is always easier to put on more but harder to take it off if you put on too much. The shade I think is too light for me. I just like kind of took a step back and looked at myself in the full mirror and I look a little bit ghosty. So I'm going to take a little bit more right where I have scarring on my cheeks because I like a little bit more coverage there. And instead of buffing it in, I'm just going to pat it. Even when you do start building up coverage with this foundation, it still just gives you the most natural skin-like finish. And you can see that like I just have a slight luminosity to my skin. It doesn't make you completely matte, but it's not super dewy. I think it is one of the best foundations, not just at the drugstore, but on the market. Now I am going to let my foundation kind of set in a little bit before I go in with a cream bronzer, and I'm going to conceal. Today I'm going to be using my Revlon photoready Candid Antioxidant Concealer in the shade 005 Fair. And I don't really like to go in with a ton of concealer. I just do like one dot in the inner corner of my eye, one dot in the outer corner of my eye, and recently I haven't even been going down the middle of my face, which I know I just said that I haven't been going down the middle of my face, but I'm feeling a little bit on the forehead today and a little bit on the chin. Next, I'm going to go in with a cream bronzer. I am going to put a powder bronzer on top in a little bit. So this is the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer in the shade Baked. Also used this in my most recent video. I was reading a thread on Reddit yesterday, on the beauty thread, and it was talking about forehead bronzer, and they were talking about beauty gurus who do it well and beauty gurus who don't do it well. And it was honestly really eye-opening because I am a firm believer in forehead bronzer, and when I was like reading it, I was like, you know, there really are some beauty gurus who don't really know how to do forehead bronzer. And now I am trying to almost draw inspiration from the beauty gurus who don't do it well and work on the placement of my personal forehead bronzer so that I don't end up with gross looking bronzer all over my forehead. Now I'm going to set the concealer that I put on, but only the concealer, and I'm going to be using that same Makeup Revolution banana powder and setting just right underneath my eyes, right where I put this concealer, because I want to keep luminosity in my skin. I just choked on nothing. Wow. Now that I have set my face where I want to set, I'm going to move on to my brows. I'm still kind of that was really not fun. So I have had this brow pencil for forever. I think I got it in an Ipsy like a year ago, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but I want to give it another try because for how I have been doing my eyebrows recently, I think this might be perfect. I've never heard of this brand. It is called Skone, and it's spelled S-K-O-N-E, and it is their Brow Wand eyebrow pencil in the shade Chocolate. And it is one of those eyebrow pencils that kind of has a triangular tip. The thing about this pencil is that it is so hard, and the way that I used to fill in my eyebrows was with a lot of intense color, and it was just so hard to get a bunch of color payoff, which is what I wanted. But now, since I've just been doing lighter, more natural brows, it's kind of perfect. That was my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Gel, the clear brow gel. And now I'm going to finish off the eyes. So on the lower lash line, I'm going to take some of the shade called Intense, and I am going to just smudge that out a little bit. I think that's all I want to do on my lower lash line. Now I'm going to take the shade called First, which is a nice creamy beige color, pretty light, and I'm going to take that, whoa, that showed up so dark. What? I should have known, because this palette gives weird color payoff. It was a really good song. I should start swatching these before I throw it on my ass. Actually, I kind of like it. It's kind of like a pinky brow bone color, which makes the eye look a little bit more cohesive. This was the shade that I just used on my brow bone, and then I'm going to take the shade right here, which is called Transparent, and I'm going to use that for my inner corner highlight. It is kind of like a, it's not kind of, it is a rose gold color, but It is very light. I'm going to be taking my KVD Vegan Cosmetics Cake Pencil, which is just a normal black eyeliner, and I'm going to be tightlining my eyes with that. Oh, I poked myself. And now I'm going to be going in with my Essence mascara. This is a really great mascara, and I bought this per Julia Mazzucato's recommendation, and I really enjoy it. I do not like wearing it on my bottom lashes because I find that it smudges really bad. I have very long bottom lashes and they curl like straight down, so I find that a lot of mascaras smudge on me, and this one does pretty bad. I'm just going to be putting this on my upper lashes and leaving my bottom lashes mascara-less. I was gonna say empty, bare. I could not think of the right word. And that is the eyes complete. So now we just have to finish off the face. So I'm going to go in with my Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil Matte Bronzer, and this is in the shade Light Medium, and I'm going to be doing the wave technique originated by Julia Adams, and you just kind of stamp your bronzer and go in a wave motion up and over your nose, even on your cheeks, kind of where you would typically place your blush. But because of this technique, you also kind of change the placement of your blush just a little bit. And in the past, I would go in with bronzer all over my forehead, but 2020 is the year of no messy forehead bronzer. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that across the jaw and neck just to make everything look super cohesive and blended. And that is where I'm going to leave the powder bronzer. For my blush today, I'm not actually going to be using a blush. It is a highlighter. And this is the Wet n Wild Megaglo highlighting powder in the shade Crown of My Canopy. And I bought this highlighter because I wanted to try out the formula, but the shade ended up being way too dark for me. So now I use it as like a glowy, pinky cheek topper, and I don't really use it as an actual blush, just kind of to give some glow to my cheeks. For the placement, I'm placing it really close to my under eyes. I think I went in with a bit too much, so if that happens, you can take your bronzer or your foundation brush and just kind of pat that out. For highlight, I'm going to be taking my AOA Studio Velour highlights in the shade Sometimes. I recently talked about this in my, I think it was like my underrated, undiscovered product video, and if you have not seen that, you should go check it out. And this is one of my favorite highlighters. It gives you the most beautiful like glow from within, and that is my favorite type of glow. I'm gonna do my favorite placements, which is cheekbones, a little bit in this C shape. I'm also going to take this on my chin and Cupid's bow. And then I'm going to take a different smaller brush and do my favorite little trick right out here at the corner of the eyes to connect your eyeshadow to your highlights, and then down the nose and the tip of your nose. So now let's move on to lips. So I'm going to be taking my NYX lip pencil in the shade Natural. And now I'm going to take my finger and just smudge those lines out, only so that it doesn't look too harsh. And then I'm going to be taking my Morphe lip gloss in the shade Trippy, which is this dark, almost brown golden color, but it has really beautiful like pink and blue tiny reflex in it. And that is it for the makeup look. I'm going to run off camera, fix my hair, spray my face down, and I will be. That is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed getting ready with me, watching me do this little look using the Natasha Denona Love Palette. And yeah, that is it. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy, staying home, helping prevent the spread of the thing that is going on in the world right now. And I hope you also will subscribe and like this video before you go, and I will see you in my next one.